This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology.
It is wonderful to be here. We are tackling a subject today that I think sits squarely at the intersection of absolutely necessary and totally infuriating.
That is the perfect way to frame it. I want to start with a picture that The Senior Techie describes, and I just know everyone listening has lived this probably this week.
Oh, absolutely.
You're sitting down, you've got your coffee, you just want to do something simple, like check your bank balance, maybe order a gift for a grandchild. The intention is simple.
It should be simple.
But then you hit the wall, the login screen. You type in what you think is the password, access denied.
Right.
You try again, maybe you capitalized the P last time. Nope, denied again, and now you can feel the blood pressure start to rise.
And you click forgot password, and suddenly you're in this administrative nightmare.
Exactly. You have to invent a new code. It needs a capital letter, a number, a symbol, but, and this is the part that drives me crazy, it can't be a password you've used in the last year.
It's the classic definition of password fatigue. And looking at the research from the Senior Techie, this isn't just a nuisance. It's actually pushing us towards some really dangerous behavior.
Dangerous how? I mean, besides the risk of me throwing my computer out the window.
Well, that too. But dangerous digitally. Because the requirements are so complex, our brains look for shortcuts. We write passwords on sticky notes and put them on the monitor.
Guilty.
Or we use the same password for our bank that we use for a gardening forum. Or, as the Senior Techie points out, we invent these little formulas like your street address plus the cat's birthday just to satisfy the machine.
I am so guilty of the cat's birthday method. It feels like the only way to beat the system. But you're saying that's playing right into the hands of the bad guys.
It is. And that's the scary context we have to set. The Senior Techie highlights a pretty grim statistic. As of last year, data breaches have exposed credentials for something like 13 billion accounts.
13 billion. With a B. That's hard to even wrap your head around.
It's a staggering number. So every time you reuse a password or use a weak one because you're tired, you're rolling the dice. Hackers have software that runs 24/7, just trying those passwords on every bank site imaginable.
And that's not even getting into the active attacks, like phishing. The Senior Techie really emphasizes phishing as a major threat for the 55-plus demographic.
Exactly. Phishing is where they try to trick you. You get an email that looks exactly like it's from Amazon or your bank. It says your package is delayed or your account is suspended.
And they create that panic, that act now feeling.
Right. And the emails are getting incredibly sophisticated. It used to be easy to spot the typos. But now, they look identical to the real thing. You panic, you click, you see a login box, and you type your password. And just like that, you've handed the keys over to a scammer.
It just creates this situation where we have to be perfect 100% of the time. But the reason we're here today is because the Senior Techie says we might finally be at a turning point. There's a technology that claims to solve the memory problem and the security problem at the same time.
Yes. We're talking about Passkeys.
Passkeys. It sounds a little like marketing jargon. But looking through the documentation, this seems like it's trying to kill the password entirely. So let's strip away the hype. What fundamentally is a passkey?
The simplest analogy, based on the explanation from the Senior Techie, is to think of it as a digital handshake.
A handshake. That implies two parties agreeing on something without, exchanging a secret code.
Precisely. Think about how you unlock your smartphone right now. Do you type a 14-character password with a special symbol every time you want to check the weather?
No way. I'd never use the phone. I just look at it, it sees my face, and it opens, or I use my thumbprint.
That is the user experience of a passkey. It lets you log into a website like Amazon or your bank using that exact same action. Instead of typing spot dog 123 into a box, the website just pings your phone. Your phone asks, "Is that you?" You scan your face or your thumb and you're in.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here. We have been trained for 20 years that easy means insecure. If I'm not suffering, how can I possibly be safe? It feels too light.
It does feel counterintuitive, doesn't it? But to understand why it's actually much, much safer than a password, we have to look under the hood a little bit.
Okay, lay it on us. How does the magic happen?
So when you set up a passkey for an account, your device, your phone or your computer, generates a pair of cryptographic keys. Two distinct but mathematically connected keys.
Okay.
One is called the public key and one is the private key.
Public and private. Got it.
The public key is sent to the website, let's say Google. They file that away. But the private key, this is the crucial part, the private key stays locked inside your device. The senior techie emphasizes this heavily. The private key never leaves your phone.
Never. Not even during the login.
Never. It is not sent over the internet. It's not stored on a server. It stays in what's often called a secure enclave or a secure vault right on your hardware.
So if it never leaves the phone, how does the website know I actually have it?
That's the handshake.
Yeah.
When you go to log in, the website sees you and says, okay, I have a public key for this user. I'm going to send a complex math puzzle, a challenge to their device.
A challenge response system.
Exactly. The website says if you really have the private key, you can solve this puzzle. Your phone receives it. But, and this is key, it doesn't just solve it automatically. It waits. It needs your permission.
And that permission is my face scan or my fingerprint.
That's it. The face scan isn't sending your face to the bank. It's just unlocking the key on your phone to solve the puzzle.
Ah, I see.
You verify it's you. The device solves the puzzle with a private key and sends the answer back. The website checks the answer against its public key and lets you in.
That's fascinating. So I'm never actually sending a secret across the internet that someone could steal.
Correct. You are proving you have the key without ever showing the key.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's apply this to those real-world nightmares, those 13 billion exposed accounts. How do passkeys fix the data breach problem?
Well, think about how a breach happens. Hackers break into a company's server and steal a database.
A list of usernames and passwords.
Right. And even if they're encrypted, hackers have powerful computers to crack them, especially the simple ones we all tend to use.
Because I use password 123 again.
Exactly. But with passkeys, if a hacker breaks into the server, all they can find are public keys.
And the public key is useless.
Completely useless without the private key. And where's the private key? It's in your pocket, on your phone. It's like stealing a bunch of padlocks but having none of the actual keys.
So the target has moved. They can't just rob the bank vault. They have to mug every single customer individually.
Which is much, much harder to do at scale.
That solves the breach issue. But I want to circle back to the other one, because this is the one that keeps people up at night. Phishing.
It is arguably the strongest feature of passkeys. We all worry about being tricked. My own father calls me sometimes panicking about an email from Netflix saying his payment failed.
We've all been there. It looks so real.
So let's play that out with a passkey. You get the fake email, you click the link, you end up on a website that looks like Netflix, but if you look at the address bar, it's actually netflixsupportpayment.com or something tricky.
And normally I'd type my password in there and they'd have it.
Right. But passkeys are strictly bound to the specific website where they were created. Your phone knows that your Netflix passkey is tied exclusively to netflix.com.
So the phone is checking the address even if I'm not.
Exactly. When you try to use the passkey on that fake site, your phone looks at its keychain and says, I don't have a key for this website. It simply refuses to offer the credential.
So even if I get tricked, my device won't.
It stops the attack cold. You technically cannot get phished in the traditional way because the handshake will fail on a fake domain.
That is a massive relief. It takes the burden of being a digital detective off the user.
And that brings us to the strength of the credentials themselves. The senior techie makes a great point here. Because you don't create passkeys, the computer does, there are no weak links. No 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every passkey is cryptographically strong by default.
No more of that red text saying password strength weak, judging my life choices.
Exactly. The computer handles the complexity so you don't have to.
So we've established it's safer. But let's be honest, people don't always adopt new technology just because it's safer. They adopt it because it's easier. This is where the senior techie really focuses on the senior advantage.
Yes. The argument here isn't about being tech-savvy. It's the opposite. It's about removing the friction.
We talked about password fatigue, but there's a deeper layer to this regarding cognitive load, isn't there?
There is. The senior techie references a statistic from the American Psychological Association. They note that 15 to 20% of adults over 65 experience mild cognitive impairment. But even without a diagnosis, we all know our memory isn't what it was when we were 20.
I walk into the kitchen and forget why I'm there at least once a day.
We all do. But passwords are effectively memory tests. Every single time you log in, you're taking a quiz. What was that arbitrary combination of letters I made up 3 months ago? Passkeys remove that requirement entirely.
So it moves from what you know to what you have, which is the phone in your hand.
Exactly. And think about the lifestyle impact. The senior techie paints this picture of retiring the little black book. We all know someone who has that notebook with every password written in it.
Usually hidden under the keyboard. Or worse, carried in a purse.
Right. If you lose that book, you're in serious trouble. Passkeys eliminate the need for those crutches. You just show up.
It sounds liberating, but let's get practical. For the listeners thinking, okay, I'm sold, but this sounds like I need a computer science degree, what does the actual setup look like?
It is surprisingly simple.
Okay.
In fact, you usually don't even have to go looking for it. It starts with a prompt. You might log into your Google account or Amazon, and you'll see a pop-up that asks, create a passkey for faster sign-in.
And the advice is to say yes to that.
Absolutely say yes. Once you click that button, your device will ask for confirmation, usually just that face scan or fingerprint, and that's it.
Wait, really? I don't have to scan a QR code or copy a long string of text?
Usually no. The device creates that key pair in the background, sends the public one to the site, locks the private one, and you are done. The next time you visit, it just prompts for your fingerprint.
Okay, here's the question I know people are screaming right now. I don't just use a phone. I have an iPad. I have a laptop. If the private key is locked on my phone, how do I log in on my tablet?
This is the magic of the ecosystem, and it's something the senior techie explains really well. We aren't dealing with some startup experiment here. The big players, Google, Apple, Microsoft, are all behind this.
The tech giants are actually cooperating?
Well, they're cooperating with themselves, mostly. If you're an Apple user, for example, your passkeys sync through your iCloud keychain. They're end-to-end encrypted, but they are available on all your Apple devices.
Just like my contacts or my photos?
Exactly. You create a passkey on your iPhone, it's automatically there on your iPad and your Mac. Same for Google Password Manager if you're on Android or Chrome. You unlock one device, and you can log in from any synced device.
Okay, that solves the trapped on one device fear. But let's do a reality check. This all sounds great, but nothing's perfect. What are the downsides? What do we need to watch out for?
That's a fair question. The senior techie mentions we're in a transition phase. We're living in both worlds right now. Meaning, while the big sites are adopting passkeys, your local library website or that small knitting forum you love might not support them yet. So for a while, you will still have some passwords to manage.
So don't throw away the notebook just yet.
Not yet. Keep it in a safe place. But for your critical accounts, email, banking, shopping switch to passkeys as soon as they offer.
And there's another warning from the senior techie about the device itself. If the passkey protects the account, what protects the passkey?
This is crucial. Since your phone is now your key, you must protect the phone. If someone steals your phone and they know your unlock PIN, the code you type to get into the phone, they could potentially access your passkeys.
So having a passcode of 1234 on your phone is a really bad idea.
A terrible idea. The senior techie advises using a strong PIN, or better yet, relying on the biometric lock's face or fingerprint. The security of the passkey is only as strong as the security of the device it lives on.
That's a really important distinction. The lock on the front door is only good if you don't leave the key under the mat. One more scenario. What if I drop my phone in a lake and I don't have an iPad? Am I locked out of my bank forever?
That sounds incredibly stressful, doesn't it? But there are fail-safes. Most services have recovery options. And because of that cloud syncing we mentioned, as long as you can log back into your main Apple or Google account on a new device, your passkeys will come back down from the cloud.
So the cloud is the backup.
Correct. But it's a good reminder to make sure your recovery settings for your main Google or Apple account are up to date.
So looking at the big picture here, it sounds like the takeaway is that while it's new and new things can be intimidating, the benefits, especially for anyone with password fatigue, far outweigh the learning curve.
I think so. The senior techie puts it perfectly. This isn't about becoming a computer expert. It's about letting the technology do the heavy lifting.
I love that. Letting the technology do the heavy lifting.
You shouldn't have to struggle to prove who you are. You shouldn't feel anxiety every time a login box appears. Passkeys handle the security stuff automatically, so you can just show up.
Just show up. I think that's the goal for all technology as we get older. We want it to work for us, not make us work for it.
Precisely. And this is the future. For once, it's a future that is actually friendlier to seniors than the present is.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to wrap up. The big takeaway. Next time your phone asks if you want to create a passkey, don't be afraid to click yes.
And you'll be safer for it.
Absolutely. Thank you for walking us through this. It's been a real eye-opener.
My pleasure.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com.